What's up, film family? Welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name is Scott,
My name is Dion.
and today we're doing Scream 1996, directed by Wes Craven. We're going to have the listener join the convo in the family meeting. We're going to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. We're going to finish the episode with our award show that we call the Filmmies. But before we do any of that, we got to start by giving our general thoughts. General thoughts. Dion, this is one of your favorite movies. I know that you picked this movie for this week. It's your birthday this week coming up. Happy birthday, bro. Happy early birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, by the time this comes out, my birthday will be the next day. So
yeah, you got the perfect shirt on. Like I see you got the Ghostface shirt on. But not only that,
it's got the poster in the back.
Oh yeah, you got the poster there. Is that for Scream 7, the poster?
It is, yeah. It's what I got from that event that I went to.
Okay.
The poster's kind of buns, to be honest, but I actually don't like the poster, but it was free, so it's
okay,
actually that's all whatever.
But the
floating heads poster.
It's kind of like Valentine's-y too.
That's why I'm rocking it.
So timely.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm rocking it, because I have a couple Scream shirts, and I was like, you know what? This is like a Valentine's Day kind of Scream shirt. It says, "No, you hang up," and it's like it's got the hearts on. I'm like, it's Valentine's Day came and went, so it's perfect. Perfect is timely, so
it's perfect. It's perfect. So, like I said, you picked this movie. I know it's one of your favorites. Tell me why.
Yeah, so when I was young, I was not a huge horror movie fan. Like I was actually very close to you, to be honest. I know like it wasn't something you went out to watch, and like even when I used to see trailers for horror movies, I'd be like, I don't want to watch that. Like it doesn't look good. And like I was on that camp of like I held a lot of the same like horror movies to like what they were, at least in the 2000s, was just like, it's just like disgusting gore and stuff like that. And it's just meant for the scares, and there's not much like of a storyline. There's not much really to it. But then I remember watching this movie for the first time. I think I might have been like 13 or 12 or something. I was pretty young. And like, I remember I was scared, but then like there was so much humor in it, which I wasn't ready. And that was such like a new style to me, which I was like, I've never seen a movie that's got like that has like this balance of humor, and then suddenly it's like we're serious. And then there's still sometimes a little bit of humor within like the scare moments, like when Ghostface is getting hit, and because Ghostface is like the clumsiest killer in like the slasher genre. So that that's kind of funny. And like when I grew up, I was a massive Scooby-Doo fan, which I'm sure a lot of kids were. And this has that Scooby-Doo element to it. Like who's the person behind the mask? Like I like that mystery element to it, which is always fun to me as the series continued and turned into TV shows where it's just like it's a murder mystery. Like now I get to watch like it's a comedy, horror, murder mystery like all the time. And it's like, all right, who's under the mask? Let's speculate. And it was always fun for me that way. And the first ever like scary Halloween costume, because like when you're a kid, you're doing like the Buzz Lightyear, you're doing the Superman, Spider-Man. The first ever Scream costume, like scary costume that was in my house, was a Scream costume. I think it was my older brother, like my dad. And not only did we have that mask and like the garb dress thing, we actually had the voice. So the voice that you hear in this, we had the little voice recorder thing. So I was like, this is cool. And we used to like, hello, Sydney. Like we used to mess with each other, call each other on the phone, stuff like that. So it was just like, it was just incorporated into our house, and it was, I don't know, it was just a blast for me.
That's so cool. I know you had the costume because I've seen what you wear it a bunch of times. I didn't know you had the voice changer. That's pretty cool. Did you just get that at like a costume store? Where do you even get that?
Yeah, it was just at like one of those Spirit Halloweens or whatever it is. It was like one of those, but like they rarely do it anymore. Like I'm always looking around Halloween time. I'm always looking in because they're so hard to find, and like they've become like this, like a rare Pokemon card ass thing. Like if you go on like eBay and stuff like that, people are selling them for like hundreds of dollars. I'm like, I guess they don't make them anymore, which is weird because they brought the series back. So you think they'd bring them back into production, but they're
maybe like a licensing thing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I'm upset that we lost it because I used to have so much fun with it. It was a blast.
Well, this movie, you brought up like the tone, and I think that's the biggest thing that I took away from this was like it's such a unique tone that you talk about. Like it does the scary thing, it does the horror thing, like it plays around with like camera angles where they open a door and then you don't know who's behind the door, so that someone's gonna pop out. But it also does the funny thing, like people are cracking jokes, like you said. Ghostface is just clumsy. He's getting hit by the fridge door and just falling around stuff. And also I think the fact that like nobody in this town is really taking this killer that seriously. Like, you
Mm.
know, oh, these people got killed, but we're all just still coming to school, and there's reporters here, and we're just like cracking jokes. Kids are like wearing the costume and running around school like a prank. And then they start this curfew, and the first thing he's like, all right, let me have a party. And it's like, that is not, that's the opposite of what this curfew is supposed to do, dude. So like the fact that no one's taking it that seriously, but we're seeing people actually die and they have jokes, and it's self-aware, they're making jokes about other horror movies too, but like including the tropes while playing on them, like it just makes for such a fun feel and very unique.
Yeah, and yeah, no, and to that point too, like of what you said about the like the kids not really caring. I never realized that until like even doing research for this, that like that was like an intentional thing of like I guess like Wes wanted to, and Wes and Kevin, like the writer and the director, were both like, I guess in especially in the 90s, they're like, I don't know why, I can't speak for her because I wasn't a teenager in the 90s, but they were just talking about how like how cynical people were. So they really wanted to push that across with like teenagers in the 90s. They just didn't give a shit. So like even if people were dying, they'd just be like, whatever, man. Let's make jokes about people die. Like I think it was like Tatum when Sydney was like, oh, she used to sit next to me in class. She's like, she doesn't anymore. Like that's great. She died last night.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and
that's
I mean, coming to
crazy.
school and be like, "Oh, they strung her up, and her insides were outside," and it's like, first of all, how do you have all of this information? It happened last night. Like, how is all of this just out in the public knowledge? This is crazy. And second of all, you're right. Like, this is a literal person that you saw every day was murdered, and you know, like in our high school, there was a girl that died while we were going to school. She wasn't murdered, but she died. And like the
Mhm.
whole atmosphere was like really sad and really somber because a real person just died. Like that's a normal
Yeah.
response. In this movie, like they just don't care at
No,
all. It's insane.
it really is insane. And like uh yeah, it just really is insane. Yeah, you don't even realize it until like well, even you bringing up and then me reading that, I was like, yeah, it is really crazy like how cynical they were with that. And I guess the only thing is about like how do they know it, because I guess because it's a small town. You know what I mean? It's like one of those
Yeah.
small towns, like everybody knows everybody. So like, like things travel fast versus like if you're in a city, but like it's this very like rural area. It's just, like everybody knows it, like everything, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, also because of the tone being so light, I just don't really care about a lot of that stuff. Like there's a whole lot
Yeah.
of like classic horror movie stuff where you're like, why did you do that? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But like the movie's not really trying to be anything other than that. Like we're just sitting.
Yeah.
It's like it's a very fun movie. It's very rewatchable because of like the
Yeah.
light tone, the ridiculousness of the kills. Um, the self aware is great. Like Randy being into all the movies, like no, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Oh
Like
yeah.
all that stuff is so fun. It's I've I'm trying to think to if I actually ever seen this movie before because I've seen Scary Movie, like the one that makes fun of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of like
Mm,
knew the stuff that it does, and I'm pretty sure I've seen like bits and pieces of it, like just from clips. And
yeah.
everybody, it's so popular, so people have talked about it, and it's been like referenced a whole bunch of times. But like, I don't think I've ever actually sit down and fully watched this thing.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you that. So this was very like this was like your first time ever seeing the movie.
I think so. I'm like I might have watched it years and years and years ago, but like when like trying to figure out who the killer was. Like I didn't know who it was. I was like, I thought I kind of remembered. I was like, okay, I think it's two people doing this,
Mm,
and but I can't remember who it is and
mm,
why they're doing it. So I was still like, while I was going throughout, I was still guessing like, oh, maybe it's that guy or maybe it's that guy. So like
yeah.
the mystery part of it was pretty good too. That's what adds to not just being like a scary slasher. Like you're trying to figure out who's
Yeah.
the killer.
Okay, that was the one thing I was curious about too. Like I was just because the like the age of the movie and just like obviously social media and stuff like that, and like having a social media and stuff like so like you just flip through and sometimes you'll just see things. Maybe even around Halloween time, people are just like throwing out pictures of like the killers and stuff like that. So maybe not even you just like looking for it. Things could just pop up in front of you just because you see movie content and around like Halloween or whatever it is. So that was actually something I was curious. I was like, oh, I don't know if he's actually seen the spoilers or like knows anything of like what happens. So that's interesting. It's surprising that nothing was ever like thrown up in front of you, especially around like Halloween time, because this movie always gets talked about like crazy around
Yeah.
Halloween time.
Yeah, like I said, not fully. I kind of maybe like half spoiler if that's even
Mm.
a thing. But I wasn't
Yeah.
sure about it, so I was like, I also could be wrong. So like when we get into
Yeah.
the deep dive, I have kind of my points of like who I thought it
Okay.
was at what point and why, and then when
Okay.
things
Yeah,
change
I'm
and stuff
interested to
like
hear
that.
that.
But
So, but I mean, I
uh,
guess is it time to hear from the family?
that's exactly where I was going. Let's get into the family
Okay.
meeting.
Let's get into the family meeting.
I don't have friends. I got family.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, we're 11 minutes in now. You've been talking to us already. But welcome to the family meeting. This is where we ask questions to the internet and we get their responses and we talk about them. So on Instagram and Reddit this week, I asked the question, what's your favorite horror slasher killer?
Okay.
I put a
I thought you were
poll
gonna
up
say,
on.
what's your favorite scary movie? I thought you were gonna play into the Ghostface question.
Oh, I should have kind of worded that.
The way you said it.
Hey,
No, that's all
Sydney,
good.
what's your favorite horror slasher killer? I put I put a poll. I put Ghostface, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and other on Instagram, and surprisingly to me, it was 100% of the votes were Ghostface, 0%
Oh,
for anything
damn.
else. It was all Ghostface.
Damn. That is surprising. I mean, I guess it's not surprising also at the same time too, because a lot of those other guys, especially like Jason and Freddy Krueger, there haven't really been like a resurgence. Like it's what people are talking about is still the old movies. They haven't really
Yeah.
been. I shouldn't say they're not in the zeitgeist because they are. People still talk about all the time versus when Halloween comes around. But with the Halloween movies, they brought it back like a legacy thing with like Jamie Lee Curtis and stuff, and came back. And then this movie with Gen Z, this movie's gotten so popular just because like I guess they threw Jenna Ortega in it. She was really popular and stuff like that. And I don't know what it was. Like I just remember it exploding on TikTok. And obviously me as a fan, I was so happy to see it. Like they've tapped into this thing of like using like I don't know if you've ever seen it, but like if you're ever on TikTok and people have like voiceover things where like they'll have like that girl like this is what I did and da da da. Like I don't know if you
Mhm.
ever
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
any of that. For a long time, people were just started using the Ghostface voice. And I don't even think people even realized maybe if it was the Ghostface voice or not. Like around like the time the movie came out, people were using it. And then like past that, people were just using it for anything. They'd be like, this is how I make a quiche, but they were using the Ghostface voice. And I'm just like, now this is just like a pop culture voice people are just using. I don't even know if people realize this is the Ghostface voice. And there was a time when everybody had the Ghostface as their profile picture for I don't even know. They put Ghostface in Call of Duty,
Mm.
which which was so random, but it was just like yeah, for a reason it was just in the zeitgeist, and it was just like it just took over, and the box office was proving it too. Like they put out that
Yeah.
fifth movie, and maybe the original fans didn't love it as much, but like the new generation that didn't grow up on that got to grow up with this one, and they're like, oh man, this is so cool. Like this is a movie. Like they were experiencing what I experienced the first time when I watched this movie. Oh damn, it's a horror movie that talks about horror movies in the horror movie
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and just like and it's funny and it's scary and it's like well, what the heck is going on here? So like it just because my little sister really likes this movie. Like I remember I watched the fifth one with her, and then actually no, I think it was right before I was like, oh, we're gonna go watch the fifth one. Have you ever seen any of them? And she's like, no. And then we went and watched all four of them like in
Damn.
like a weekend. I mean, she's a teenager; she had lots of time,
Yeah.
and she's like all in on it, and she's like excited to watch the seventh one too. So she's just all in.
I mean, I think you're probably right. The biggest thing is just that there are still these movies coming out. Like we haven't had a Nightmare on Elm Street movie in forever, a Halloween
Oh.
movie in forever. So like it makes sense that this is what people are latching onto. The voice changer thing, that's kind of funny. It just became like a trending thing that
Yeah.
people were using. But I mean, like Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason, I'm pretty sure all those guys have been in like Fortnite, Call of Duty, like all
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff too. So
No, that is really surprising, honestly. Like I would have thought, like to me, I think the most popular is either Michael or Jason. I think Freddy is obviously the funniest. Like that's just like the more like, and maybe the most iconic in just like the look.
mm,
But I don't know, Jason, like that hockey mask. Like I think that's just it's just everyone knows it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty
Everyone knows that.
tough. I mean, but like I haven't seen any of those movies because to my knowledge anyways, like I just said I haven't seen them. They're more just like they're purely just a slasher. It's like, okay, this is the
Yeah.
killer because we know who the killer is. It's Freddy,
Yeah.
it's Jason.
Yeah.
And there's just people like stuck in a house or a cabin or the woods or whatever and they're just running away from this guy. Those are the kind of movies that I don't really like, but like
Yeah.
I still know who those guys are.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think out of the which surprised me. Like I remember like one of the movies that I think holds up the best. Like I think Friday, like Nightmare on Elm Street, holds up pretty well in its 80s-ness of like there was not much CGI. There was like
80s-ness.
no CGI. There was like no CGI in it really. So like a lot of the stuff was like practical. So it's cool seeing how creative they got with like making Freddy's arms like extend or like make or because like his whole thing's like a dream scenario. So like how do we make this dream scenario and we don't have CGI? So like they had to do all these cool things with that. So that holds up in the sense of like, oh, it's cool. The scare is not as much because like the audience is like change what actually scares them as decades go on. So like things that were scary in the 80s usually aren't as like, scary now. But the way it looks is interesting. And then the original Halloween movie, I think I watched it in theaters like because they were doing like a re-release for something, and I was like, it still holds up in the sense of like it's still actually pretty scary, especially if you watch it in a theater. And the cinematography, like I was surprised me how good it was. Like it looks really good, and the score is insane. Like John
Mm,
Carpenter, who was God gets mentioned in this, and his movie is shown in this also.
yeah.
They do a whole Randy has a whole monologue talking on Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, yeah, that stuff is so funny. And I mean, I haven't seen those movies, so like I get the tropes because I know what they are, but like the specific references to the movies that they're talking about and like Jamie Lee Curtis specifically, again, I know who she is, but like I haven't seen the movie. So like for someone like you that's like a horror movie guy, like if you've seen all of this stuff, when they're referencing it, making jokes about it, I feel like that just hits even harder. Like I still enjoyed it because like I said, I know the tropes, but I feel like if you're like really seeing the movies and you're really entrenched into this genre, like this stuff is just candy.
Yeah. And this movie, it's funny to say it this way, but this movie is like a gateway drug to get into horror movies. And I think that's why I end up liking horror movies. Cause like I think I originally watched it and I was like, you know what? I've never seen Halloween. I've never seen Silence of the Lambs. I've never seen When a Stranger Calls. I've never seen Psycho. They keep talking about these movies. They're making these quotes like, oh, Norman Bates. And like, I'm like, oh, did anyone ever know why Hannibal ate people? Like there was two Silence
Hmm.
of the Lambs references. And like I literally watched all those movies afterwards because I was like, okay, what are they talking about? So then you rewatch it, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I understand what the references they're talking. They reference Prom Night too. Like, there's so many of these movies that they talk about, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's a
That
really good
makes sense.
point. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I just haven't seen them. So some of them, I guess, go over my head. But the classics, like when he's like, don't have sex, like, yep.
Yeah,
Don't leave the room and say you're going to be right back. Like, yep.
yeah.
Like those classic ones always get me. Quickly go over to Reddit. Because I asked the same question. The most upvoted answer went to Ride 8 Seconds, was the name. He said Freddy Krueger, and
Mm.
he said Robert England is up there for me as perfectly casted roles. And he said that he likes that he speaks, like as opposed to like Jason and Michael Myers and like some of them that they just walk around, track you down, and kill you. Ghostface talks most only on the phone, actually.
Yeah, only on the
Right?
phone. Yeah,
Yeah, but that's what's so fun about it. Like that's such a good idea for a killer, like a horror killer, because it's such a good way to be like, I don't know where he is, but he can see
mm.
me. So that adds to the creepiness, but I can talk to him, and what's so good about that too is it goes to our point about the tone too, is that like um he's cracking jokes like right at the start when they answer the phone, like he's being cool with them, like what's your favorite scary movie, and oh, you're making popcorn, that's cool. And then when he flips, because they hang up on him a couple times, and he's like, if you hang up the phone, I'm gonna gut you like a fish. And it's
Yeah.
just, and then it just like, you go like, oh snap, like it checks you right back into the reality of the situation, like this guy's gonna kill this girl. So like it plays the seriousness and the funny, but totally works. Like in most movies, that just doesn't work. The inconsistent tone, but for whatever reason, it totally works in this movie.
Yeah, and apparently a lot of directors like passed up on it because they didn't get it.
Mm.
Like there was I saw a thing about like because the script was written pretty like a hot topic in like I guess the industry at the time, and everyone's like, oh man, like this is a good script. Like who can we get to direct this? And a lot of the directors apparently just thought it was a comedy. And Kevin the writer was like, no, 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 it's both. They're like, I don't know. It sounds like I'm reading this. It seems like it's just like a comedy. Like I think they were gonna try to make it more closer to what Scary Movie like
Mm.
actually did, like and being like more of a parody. They're like, no, 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 no. Like we're balancing both. They're like, I don't know, I don't get it. Like a lot of them just didn't get it. Even Sam Raimi passed on it. Like
Hmm.
he went on and he's like, I don't get it. I'm gonna do Spider-Man a couple years later. And
Yeah.
came from horror. He did the Evil Dead trilogy, and which is weird too, also because the Evil Dead trilogy is. I think I talked about it in I think the last episode. I was saying how like the new one is coming out. Where
Hmm.
the cool thing about Evil Dead is that it's got that horror. It's not as much comedy as Scream has, but like there definitely is this element where the undead is in there and they talk and they mess with the people because let's say like you and me talking, right? And then let's say I turn into the undead. I would be like a zombie or whatever, but then I'd start talking to you and start saying because I have all my Dion's memories, so then they would start saying things that knows about you. It's like, I remember what happened to us like in 12th grade, and you'd be like, wait, what the hell? I thought you were trying to kill me. Now you're dissing me. But what I did when I was 12, like, so like that element of it's funny, but they don't do it as much. So I'm surprised you even turned it down now I think about it. But yeah, a lot of people turned it down because they just didn't understand the style.
I mean, from reading a script, like having seen the movie, I understand it now. But like, if you were to just explain it to me, like it's got this really interesting tone, like they're cracking jokes and they don't care about the killer, but he's actually killing people. Like, if you were to just say that to me, I probably would say the same thing. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, that doesn't really feel like it's gonna work. Like in most movies, when a tone, maybe it's because it's constantly doing this throughout the movie. It's not like, okay, the first half is all serious and then they get to jokes, or vice versa.
Mhm.
Like it's all jokey and then tone switch and now it's all serious. So like that, it can feel like two separate movies that don't belong together. But because
Mhm.
like within one scene you're doing all of it, like you'll have people cracking jokes, you'll have people dying, you'll have it all together. So maybe that's why it like seamlessly works. But like if I were to just read the script, like I would be I mean, I'm not a Hollywood director, but like
Yeah.
it totally makes sense how you would come across as and have it rub you the wrong way and be like, I don't know if this is really going to work.
Yeah. No, for sure. Because it is interesting too. Yeah. Because I agree with you where it does come across. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. And also, you just don't know if it's going to work because no one's really done anything to this scale at that point before.
Mm.
Like, especially like the heavy dialogue aspect of it, like with the references and stuff like that. And then maybe they'd be like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I think there was just a lot of questions around, like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, we're not, like, we're kind of out of that era. Like, that, this is like that, it kind of ties into even our conversation we had with the Silence of the Lambs. Like, now we're kind of doing different kind of, we're doing like serial killers. This is another serial killer but like we just did Silence of the Lambs and like we're going more into like just like human face things. So like I don't even know if audiences even want to see the masked person anymore. Like that was a like very much like an 80s thing. So I think that was another even a thing too where we're like, I don't know if this tone is gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah, but then the fact that they play on it as I think what makes it work, because if we just like like you said, the mass killers of the 80s are just serious, right? They're like, okay,
Mm,
this guy's gonna kill me and he's a threat and I gotta run away. Whereas like Ghostface, they fight him, they're running around through the house, in the garage, they like walk up and talk to him, they're like, oh, is that you, Randy? Like you're just, that's you in the
mm,
costume? And he's like, nope, I'm not
mm,
Randy. And so like that is I think why it works, is because at this point we're like, okay, a killer in a mask, that's kind of a little silly, kind of a little
mhm.
ridiculous. And that's what this movie does, is like, yeah, it is silly, it is ridiculous, this killer is leaning into that, so that's why it works.
Yeah. No, you know what was a funny thing, which is like it was fun doing like research for this movie because I actually didn't even like really have to really rewatch the movie because I've seen it so many times. So it was really just like finding these little tidbits that I didn't know as a fan that's seen it so many times. And one thing I thought was funny because he's called Ghostface. Apparently, initially there's two things. One, they're like it was just gonna be a person in a mask, and they didn't even think about him wearing
Mm.
like a body suit or anything. He just like kind of be like in regular clothes and then have that mask on. I'm like, that seems like really weird. like, and then the second one they said is like the costume was gonna be all white because he's like Ghostface. I'm like, that seems just so loud.
Mm.
Him running around in an all white costume.
Yeah,
Like
and
there's
he's trying to
no
like,
element of like hiding or anything. I
yeah,
feel like
that's what I was gonna say. Like he's hiding in the shadows. We see him a couple of times, like in the trees, like shuffling across. Like if you're in this bright white suit,
that's
that
what
kind of
I'm
takes that
saying.
away. And actually, what I read about like putting the cloak on at all, because the whole thing is like we don't know who it is, right? So like if you just see a guy be like, oh, that's the same sweater and pants that Stu's wearing, and he just has
That's
a
what I'm
mask
saying.
on, like you know what I mean? Like you
That's
got to
what I'm
be able to
saying.
cover him.
Yeah, that sounds like there's got to be an element of him like covering the body because then there's like then you obviously know if it's a girl or a guy. Like they even tease like, oh, maybe it could be a
True.
girl. Like maybe people didn't at the time think maybe it was going to be a girl or not, but it could have been. But like if you show the body, then it's like, well, that's clearly a man or that's clearly a woman. You see the stature, and then it's just you can play around with it more. Where it's just like which they do as the like in the TV shows in the series where it's just like sometimes you're like Ghostface was like this 6'5" person, but now like when we take the mask off, now they're like a 5 foot person. I'm like, that's not even. I'm like, okay, I like Ghostface lifted this person up and threw them, and then they reveal it it's like this scrawny person. I'm just like, all right, that's why you cover the whole body because then you kind of forget that and be like, all right,
Yeah, but that's part of the comedy too, right? Where you do that,
yeah,
you're like, but that just doesn't make sense. But I mean, we're in a movie where like it doesn't matter what makes sense. We're
yeah,
suspending our belief because of the tone of the movie that allows us to do that. And I mean, the mystery, I thought it was actually pretty good. I mean, like I said, it was kind of semi spoiled for me. I feel like if it wasn't,
mm.
like, do you remember the first time you watched this? Like,
Oh
were
yeah,
you
no.
was it a big surprise, like the twist at the end of who it was and
Yeah,
everything?
like yeah, no, it was a big shocker for to me, just in the sense of like really liked the way they handled like the Billy character, and that was
Mm,
one of those things where like I always like when I've seen like other movies or like I've sat with someone, it doesn't even have to be this movie where they're like, oh yeah, I knew it was that person, but like during the movie they're like, oh, it's probably gonna be like that Billy guy, and like things happen and they're like, oh snap, I guess it's not him, and then when it's him at the
mhm.
end, it's like, I knew it. I'm like, no, 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 you were like 30 minutes in, you're like, oh, I guess it's not him. They got you.
Yeah.
Don't say I knew it the whole time because they got you, and that's what I think is great about this movie is like they purpose like this guy is creepy from the get-go. He's coming through the window. He's immediately there when Sid is attacked like at her
Mhm.
house and drops the phone. But then it's like, oh, maybe I guess it couldn't have been him because
He's
like
at the
he
police
so attack
station.
happens and he's in the
Yeah.
police station. And then the other one where it's just like she's still questioning like after they have sex, and then he's like, what do I have to do? And then he gets stabbed, and you're like, what? I'm like, damn, I guess it really isn't him.
Yep.
And then he's like, oh, he faked it. And then people, oh, and I knew it was him. I was like, no, 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 no. They got you twice with that, where you're like, oh, no, it's not. And that, I think that's done so well
Yeah. Yeah, I
with them
totally
throwing you
agree
off.
because I think Stu is less so, I don't want to say done well,
Yeah.
but I just want to say like I kind of saw Stu coming a little bit more, but again, I knew it was two people. So I feel like
Mhm.
if you don't know that, then you assume it's maybe like her dad. That's also something that's looming throughout the whole movie is like, where is he? Like no one can get a hold of him, and the phone records say it's traced to his phone. So like, could it be him? Like, could he have, if he found out about his wife cheating on him, so he killed it? Why would he then wait a whole year? And why is he
Yeah.
killing Sydney and like her friends and stuff? That doesn't really make sense. But like, no matter who you think it is, there's something that says, oh, it could be them, but it also couldn't be because of this. So that's why
Yeah.
it's so, except for Stu. That's why like Stu is like he's always just like kind of a little weird, and he's
Yeah.
probably the most that like I said is so jaded about the whole killer thing and just doesn't care.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, it makes sense that he's like so desensitized to this, like because he's doing it. So like Stu, I feel like it's something that you might be thinking, but if you didn't know coming in that it was like two people, Billy's creepy. I thought maybe even the principal, like
Yeah, that was
when
a
the
good
two,
one too.
when those two kids come into the principal's office and he has the scissors and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna cut you. Like, what's wrong with you? You're both expelled. Get out of here." And he's doing all this creepy stuff. For a second, I'm like, "Oh, maybe it's him." And then, nope, not
Yeah.
him. So, like, you're right. They set you up, and then they they get you. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
The interesting thing about that it's like there's a term for it. So I guess it's called like the red herrings of
Mm,
movies. And this movie, they do this as they continue. Like there's a like MTV TV show that they made like in the tens and all throughout all movies. They're always really good at that red herring thing that you even see like in Knives Out, where like Randy screams that everyone's a suspect, and they make everyone just a little bit weird or creepy to the point
mhm.
of you thinking like, well, that was kind of weird. Why did they say it like that? Or where did they like? I know they even tried to make it seem like Dewey was it, but I was like, I never believed Dewey was the
No.
killer. Even on my first watch, I remember I was like, never. The cop, maybe a little bit, because they had that little thing of like when they give you a little tease, like when Ghostface is in the bathroom and you just see the shoes, and then you see like the little like dress thing come down.
Mm.
And later on, they show the chief smoking, and he pulls the cigarette down, and he steps on it. It's the same boots. So then you're like, oh, okay, like that's another like little red
Oh,
herring they're trying to. I
shoot.
don't know if you
I
even
never
caught that.
No, I didn't catch that, but like how is that even possible then?
Yeah, I know. Like, why would the cop even do it? But like, it's just them trying to be weird with it.
No, but
Like,
how did they get
hey,
the
it could be.
boots?
I don't know. Maybe there's generic boots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Like they're
Yeah.
just Tim's that like anybody could get, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
it's just the popular boot at the time.
See, that was a
For
weird
whatever.
one for me in the bathroom because I just assumed that was like another kid at
Prank.
school pranking her because there's the other two girls in the bathroom talking shit about her mom, and then they leave, and then it's just Sydney in there, and so the guy's just waiting in the stall the whole time, and he knows Sydney's gonna come in, and then she runs out of the bathroom, and then that's it. Like he doesn't chase her. I was like, why did this? It didn't even look like he had a knife on him at the time. That one was a little weird to me, but I mean,
There's a couple moments, like even as I love this, like as much as I love this movie, I wrote down specific things that were just hilarious to me. Where I was just like, and the ones that aren't even like my Ferris Bueller's, but just moments where I was just like, yeah, I could poke fun at this. The
for sure.
bathroom is one of them. The grocery store is one of them. I'm like, why is Ghostface in the grocery store midday?
Yeah.
So Billy or Stu just got in the suit just to be in the grocery store. You see him in a reflection, and that was it.
Yeah.
What for? What?
Unless again it was just someone pranking them, and
Maybe.
because like it works well when they say, oh, it's this is just a regular costume that you get at a store or anywhere, so like we have no idea who it is, so like it makes sense, anybody could have this costume, and people at school are pranking her running around with the thing. Would someone do that at the grocery store? It seems like it's actually him because he's like creeping along
Yeah.
the aisles and staring at them, but then doesn't attack them, and like there's no one else in this grocery store like that would see this. So like that
That's
was a
my
weird
thing
one,
too. Even in the bushes, I didn't love it. Like there's parts where I'm just like, yeah, because I can even poke fun at this movie where I'm just like, what? Why? Because like because to me, not that it's confusing, but it's one of these things where it's just like it seems like their whole plan has always been. It seems like their always plan has been to do the killing on the anniversary of when they killed her mom. That's what it seems like, because when they say, hey, like it's the anniversary of your mom's death, it's because they were trying to frame their dad for that to be on the anniversary. So I was like, so does that mean you only wanted to kill Sydney? Like, was every other time you tried to chase and stuff, was just to scare her? And like you were really just waiting until, because like, were you just gonna kill her the first time? Like the first time they're in the room with her, and then Billy shows up later. Was like, were you actually planning to kill her? It seems like it.
Yeah. That's such a good point. I never thought, I didn't catch, like I didn't think of it, but you're totally right. They have the whole setup. They have her dad tied up, and the phone and the voice changer they were going to put in his pocket, and like they have it all set up to frame him. I mean, maybe they also had him like in the car or something if they were going to kill Sydney that night, and then they'd throw him in the house with the voice changer and everything. But if you want to do it on the anniversary, then why are you here tonight?
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that part maybe you could argue that they were just gonna maybe kill her and then like take the body and bring it to the spot for the I don't know. Like it's not like a plot hole or anything, but it's more so just like I don't understand what their intent was. Like even like, okay, let's say you do get her in the stall, you kill Sydney at the stall at school, then what?
Now what? Yeah.
Yeah, and like, how did they get out of that situation? Like, because they were in the girls' bathroom. Did they walk out as Ghostface, or did Stu or Billy undress and then walk out of the girls' bathroom, and people be like, "What were you doing in there?" And why is
Yeah.
Sydney dead in the bathroom? You know, like how are you gonna get that? So that part was always like, what was the plan here?
Yeah, I think
Killer
that yeah.
broad daylight during school.
That's just some of those things. I mean, because of the tone of the movie, like I said, I can kind of it makes it okay for me to kind of just hand wave that stuff away
Yeah.
because the whole movie's a little bit ridiculous. So I'm like, it's not stuff that ruins the movie, and you're not saying that
No.
either. But it's just little things that like I just kind of chalk it up as like a movie thing. It's like, okay, this is the narrative of the story. She's not
100%.
supposed to die here. Like, yes, they're
Yeah.
trying to kill her, but like they're not gonna kill her here because there's still 40 minutes left in this movie. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just stuff like that where you're just like, okay. And I mean, also the fact that the movie is so self-aware. They're always saying like where they're making the movie references of other movies, and they're also saying like, this isn't a movie. And she's like, yeah, you know what? This is a movie. And if it was a movie, like who would you get to play you and everything? Actually, by the way, Tori Spelling, Wild Stray. That's a wild stray that she caught when she's like, who would you get to play in a movie? I see you like as a Meg Ryan. She's like, with my luck, they'll cast me as Tori Spelling.
Oh
yeah,
like,
damn. You know what I mean? Like what did she?
Yeah, I
do?
know that's tough.
But like the fact that the movie's so self-aware that it is a movie is also a reason why when this movie stuff happens, I'm just like, okay, you know what I mean? Sure.
No, for sure. I mean, they cut a lot of strays. Like even to like, we go back to like I guess like the opening scene when he's on the phone, like because that's the little joke too, where they're like, oh, do you like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies? And she's like, yeah, I do love them. And like Wes Craven directed those movies, and he also directed. He didn't write the line though, so he was like, it kind of just worked out that he was like, I get to direct this movie, and he's also gonna praise my movie. But the funny line after that was like, yeah, I like the first one. He only directed the first one, and they made like 5 others. But she's like, but the rest of the other ones suck. So it's like, yeah, only mine's good. And he's like, I didn't write that line. He's like, I didn't write that line.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
I didn't dispute it, but I didn't write that line.
I mean, we don't know if that was in the script before the movie started. Maybe he did.
They added it later.
Maybe he did that in. I don't know. I think we talked about Dewey. You mentioned Dewey. I love the whole bit. Just Dewey as a character, just the fact that he's a loser, and the whole thing like with his name that they all call him Dewey. He's like, no, call me. What's his actual name actually?
I even forget, to be honest. I refer to him as Dewey so much that I don't even remember his real name.
Dewey, right? His credit on the movie is Dewey as well. Dwight. His name is
That's
Dwight.
Hilarious. Oh yeah,
Okay,
Dwight. Yeah.
No, you call me as Dwight when I'm when they're in the police station with Sydney and Tatum, and she's like, all right, can we go home now? Like we're done here. And he's like, no, we're not gonna go home. And she calls him, and she's like, no, we're leaving. He says, what did Mama tell you? When I wear this badge, you treat me like a man of the law. Everyone's looking at him, and he's like trying not to cry almost, and everybody knows him because he's Tatum's brother. So like just the whole bit of him being a dweeb is so funny.
Oh yeah, no, Dewey is a damn clown in the, which is funny because like that slowly goes away. Like he's not as incompetent as the movies goes on, but like in the first one they really go hard on him just being a complete buffoon, and that's the crazy thing is too, because like he's a grown ass man. Well, he's 25 and Tatum is a high school kid and he's getting sunned by his little sister. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. 25 is too old to be getting sunned by your sister, bro.
Yeah, especially when you're a legit cop. You're Deputy Dewey, man.
That's what I'm saying. But no, that Dewey character is hilarious. They do him hella dirty in the scary movies. I don't know if you remember how they
Not
do
really,
him in
to
those
be honest,
movies.
but I mean
They do him dirty.
He's pulling reporters. This guy is...
Yeah, Courtney Cox. Yeah, he's getting Gale Weathers. Yeah, no, it's
but
true.
I was like, does she? Because their relationship was kind of not confusing me, but it was just a little like wondering what was going on there. Well, I guess that's the definition of confusion. But just because like she's so obsessed with like getting the story right and being first, and so I thought she was kind of just taking advantage of him to like be able to get into the house, which that I think is true. So she could plant the camera. Yeah. But then when they're out for that walk looking for the car and they're actually like, it seems like they're starting to have some chemistry and like they kiss, don't they? And like,
yeah, they do kiss. Yeah.
So like that
right when
stuff, I was like, okay, she's just using him to get the story, but then they're actually starting to like build some chemistry. But then it seems like she kind of goes back to just I need him for the story. I don't know. It was a little weird.
Yeah, no, they tiptoe with it because like at first it makes it seem like she's just using him, but for whatever reason, she seems to like I guess like him a little bit. I'm not shitting on David Arquette. He's not like he's ugly or anything.
No.
Maybe he could get a Courtney Cox in real life. I don't know. I actually think they did in real life. I think they actually did date
Oh yeah.
like later on in life. Yeah.
Oh
So maybe the movie sparked something for them. They found a moment.
yeah. I guess so. Well, when he gets ran off the road and falls on top of her, which like these high school kids were just about to run these guys over. Like
Yeah, it's
what?
insane. More cynical too. Imagine this, like as much
Oh
as you
my
don't like a
God.
teacher or a principal, the principal's killed and he's hanging at the school. Let's go
Let's
see
go
him. Like
see him.
that's crazy, man. These kids don't give a damn.
That is so messed up. Actually, a funny thing that I read about that was like, first of all, the principal, his death was added in. It was a producer note. I think Bob Weinstein was
Yeah,
the
Barb
more,
Weinstein. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
so he got them to add in the principal death, which you can kind of see now that I know that how that's kind of just like wedged in. Like you could have the whole story and not have that happen,
yeah,
and it's just kind of like thrown into the middle of the movie. But one, he wanted that so that because he felt like there was too long of a time from the first kill, so they just wanted another kill. But then from the writer's perspective, Kevin Williamson, he said it actually helped solve the problem at the end at the party when because all those kids have to leave the party, right? They're all
yeah.
there watching the movie. So he's like, how am I going to get them all to leave so we can just have our like core group? And they're like, oh, the principal's dead. So like we'll do the whole strung up his body and then they'll all go to see it.
Yeah, no, that's a good. That is a good. And I didn't even realize that too because it does feel like it doesn't feel like completely random. Like it makes sense, like for the principal to scold these kids for doing what they did. So it's like, yeah, we could have that in there. What does it do plot wise? It's like, well, we just get another kill, which was
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was fine. And we also get we get an opportunity to get a little cameo in there. Like I don't know if you noticed that the janitor cameo or if
Yeah,
you
Wes
saw anything what it
Craven.
was. And
Yeah.
he was dressed up like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I noticed the Freddy Krueger thing, like the sweater, but I didn't realize it was Wes Craven until afterwards and I read that.
So I mean, that was his only time in there. So he's like, okay, if we're gonna do this, let's get cute with it. Let me throw me in there. Does anyone have anything that looks like a Freddy Krueger thing? Let's get that little cute reference in there, and then they got it in there. So which is great.
He gets a little tiny line too where he's just like what does he say? Oh yeah, the principal is just like, "Oh, you're screw all you guys, you're all assholes." And then he's like, "What?" And he's like, "No, not you, man. Not you. You're good."
Yeah, no, that was good. Another thing I want to talk about is just like I don't think they ever like I don't know what Kevin Williams' mindset was. I never actually saw any interviews of him talking about how these movies expanding. Like I think in his mind, he's like, this was like a one-time thing, maybe, and we're gonna talk about the tropes of horror and we're gonna play on them and talk kind of about like what's like I guess what's going on in the genre and even at this period. And the interesting thing that they did as the movies continued was like a cool thing where it's like now it becomes like this social commentary constantly on horror movies. And I don't want to get too deep into it because maybe someone's watching this hasn't seen it and like they want to watch those. But like the second one is interesting too because then that becomes about horror sequels and then talking about the
Mm.
rules about horror sequels because like there's always like with every genre usually there's like this kind of like a trope that like okay well now we're doing the second movie and then the third movie they're talking about trilogies and then that was supposed to be like the end. So like this is the end of a trilogy. So this is what happens in ends of trilogies. Like they even reference other movies. This is what happened in Star Wars. This is what happened. So this is probably what's gonna happen in this trilogy. So it's kind of cool how they just started talking about movies and like the whole commentary on that. And then they take a break because that was supposed to end. And then it's even funny, like you know how this is like the year of remakes and stuff like that. Like I'm sure even in the seventh movie there's gonna be a reference of that. But like in 2011 was the time when they actually did make another Jason movie. They did make another Nightmare on Elm Street movie. They tried to do Evil Dead again, and then they made a Scream movie. And in that, they're like, man, it's a new decade. Like now we're just bringing back movies from the 80s. We're bringing back stuff. So like, hey, that's what this movie, like this is what's going to happen here. Like now we got a time where it's been 10 years since the original killing or whatever. So like, it's cool they do that. And then when the fifth one comes out, the fifth one, they're talking about how all right, well, this is like the legacy sequel. And you know how you do a perfect legacy sequel? You got to bring back the original cast, and then you have to bring in the young blood. That's what we are. We're the young blood. We're the new people, and we got to bring back the original. So it's funny how like they do that as like they're in that movie.
Yeah.
And then the sixth one is like a legacy sequel where it's just like, well, now we got to do another one after that. Like now it's like it's the requel. So now we're doing the sequel to the remake, and it's just like it's constant just like social commentary of like what their movie is like as they're in it, and kind of talking like they're like, we're not a movie but we are a movie. It's like, to me that's like the interesting thing about it, and I'm curious to see what they do in this one, like what they're going to talk about.
I was going to say, do you have any predictions?
I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be like because like they already kind of are in their legacy sequel thing where it's like we got some of the originals.
7.
What
else
has gone to 7?
Like especially horror wise, have they gone into?
Jason's gone pretty far, but the thing is like they don't really have a lot of like there's 10 Jason movies, like the OG frightening. Yeah, the OG Friday the 13th, which is actually funny because we just passed the Friday the 13th.
True, we did, yeah.
But there's 10 Jason movies. There's 5 Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and the Halloween movies are all over the place. Like there's 6 of them, and then they stopped, came back, made like 3, stopped, came back, made like 2, stopped, came back, made 3. So there's like 14, but they're not all connected. They're like all these different. There's been a new Michael here. We're forgetting, number 2 never happened. So that movie's like all over. But at least with the Scream franchise, it's like from 1 to 7 is all connected. We don't forget about any movies. Like, oh yeah, that movie didn't happen. This is like a new timeline or whatever. Like we've never done any of that. So like these ones from 1 to 7, it's everything that's happened has happened.
Maybe that's the joke that they're gonna, or the trope that they're gonna play off. Maybe like some MCU stuff where they'll be like, okay, we're gonna connect like a different movie franchise into another franchise, and that's what everyone's doing now, and they have all the superheroes and interconnected stuff, and maybe they'll play off of that. I don't know. I just love that so much though, the self-aware thing. It's just so funny, and it's such a good idea to be able to like, oh, this is what people always do, and that's what we're doing. But we're not a movie, but we are a movie. And like I'm surprised like no one in any other genre has done that. Like just take the Scream thing and do it in action movies or do it in sports movies or You know
what the closest thing to that is? And I think I actually said it when we did the episode. I think that's why, not the only reason, but part of the reason why I like Knives Out. Because they kind of did that. They're like, oh, it's like we're in a giant clue house. I'm like, yeah, you are in a clue house. And you are in a movie that's like they kind of toe on that, like because they constantly mention other, like I mentioned Agatha Christie in like the newest one. So like they're like in a world where it's like we're not just like a movie where like we're self-contained. It's like, no, we're in real life. We're in real life where there is mystery books, and like we're in a mystery right now. And like, what would Agatha Christie do? So like Knives Out kind of does that, which is why kind of the reason where I'm like, oh, it's kind of meta in that sense.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. So okay, so we got it in a whodunit. We've got it in scary movies. Where's like a classic comedy movies with the comedy tropes, or like the action movies where it's like, oh well, the hero's girlfriend has got to die, so Emily, you're in danger. This is Tom is our guy, so Emily, you better watch out. You know what I mean? And then Emily dies. Like, we got to make that happen.
No, it's true. That is true. It's got to be some kind of like origin story thing too, where it's just like, oh no, like that we bullied that guy. Maybe he might turn into a supervillain. So like, maybe let's go make friends with him or something. I mean, like
exactly.
Something like that, self-aware like that, where it's like, okay, I was close. I was writing a whole thing. I was gonna get my revenge on you guys. I was close, and then some guy on the side ends up turning into the villain that like they didn't become friends with. Like I feel like that. Maybe that's the way you do it in the superhero.
But the opportunities there, man. Like I don't know. It's like you take the Scream playbook and you just do it you could do it in any genre.
Maybe The Boys is the closest thing to being kind of meta in a sense. Like it's self-aware that like, I don't know if it's self-aware, but more so in the sense of like they are in this world where like superheroes is depicted as this one thing. Like on camera, like have you seen The Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, like on camera, it's like, oh, these guys are good. They're just like the Avengers, basically. But behind cameras, they're not. Like, this is what they're actually like. Everything you see is just like the glamorized version. This is what the heroes are actually like. So like maybe self. I don't know if that makes it self
I
aware.
think
It's
it's more
not the
like
same thing, but
satire. It's more like a political
yeah,
satire, that movie. Like it's very much like a left and right kind of thing.
yeah,
Less
no, that
so
is
of like
true.
the superhero. Like the superhero, the fact that they have superpowers is kind of more like the just the power of, rich businessmen and politicians, like that kind
Yeah,
of power. Um and they just make fun of that or show like, yeah, see, these guys all actually suck. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
less
no, that's
so
true.
like, oh, in a if this were a superhero movie, like the villain would then tell you his whole plan, and then while in the background someone's doing something in the works to be able to stop this that he doesn't know about. And you know what I mean? Like, you could do it for
Yeah,
superhero movies. I'm surprised it hasn't, because
yeah, no,
this
that's true.
series has been so successful and the blueprint is right there.
Yeah, no, you're right. I've always wondered that too, because I always think about like, especially with a comedy, I don't know how you specifically do it, because then you have to start really breaking down what tropes are in a comedy movie. But I feel like almost comedies are more open in that
Yeah,
sense,
you're
where there's
right.
not as much tropes because comedy is subjective also. So like people do different things with their comedy. That it's just like they're not really playing into a specific comedy trope.
Yeah, I
So
think
I don't.
I think a comedy, because comedies depends on the type of comedy, obviously. But like if it's just like a surface level, we're just going for laughs, the story just doesn't really even matter. So like,
Yeah,
are there any tropes? You're literally just
exactly.
going through some kind of story so that you can get one-liners off. But like, you could easily do this for like a rom-com. You could easily
Mm,
do this for like action movies. You could do this for sci-fi. There's so many,
yeah.
well, I guess we just finished saying not comedy, so not any genre, but most genres.
All right, maybe we're maybe the film room is gonna be writing on something. We're working on
Yeah.
ours. We're brainstorming live right now.
Yeah, we love to do that. We do that all the time. It's so good.
Yes.
One last thing I want to talk about was, I mean, the classic horror stuff. Like, we talk about the comedy of this movie, but it actually has like some scary moments. Like someone, like I said, opens a door. We don't see what's on the other side, so they close it, and then something pops out. Sometimes it's a setup and there's nothing, and that's, you see the door open, and you're like, oh shoot, is there something there? And then it closes, and then it's nothing, and then it's, oh, okay, I wasn't sure. Or they have like a quick pan, like someone turns around and then they quickly pan and there's someone sitting right behind them, or someone grabs them, like in the video store when Randy's like yelling all that stuff, everybody's a suspect, the cops don't know anything, they haven't seen enough movies, I would have solved this, yesterday. And he turns around and then Billy just grabs him, and they always have like the boom of the
Yeah.
sound to even make you jump a little bit more. uh I think it's Sydney that opens the door, and then the mask is there, but it's actually
Oh
Dewey
yeah,
just holding
Dewey.
it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like they actually do the horror stuff. Like, there are a few moments that actually can get you.
Yeah, to me, the best thing, which why I think Wes is the group is best for the job. I mean, before this, he'd made a couple horror movies, and like he's so good at building the tension, especially playing off this script. Like even in the opening scene, like you're playing with the call, and it's just like, where is Ghostface going to show up? Because now he's established he's going to gutter like a fish or whatever, right? And it's just like, where is he in the house? He's going to come out from the front door, which is also another funny thing. Like, she's running around the house locking all the doors. I'm like, why were they all open?
Yeah,
But
small
like,
town.
yeah, there's that tension. I think one of the best like suspense building scares is the Sydney isolation one, because she's in that house, this massive house in the middle of nowhere, like amazing view. She's on that phone, all you're seeing is mountains. I'm like, damn, what did your dad do for a living? Like, that's
That's a
some
good
land,
question.
man, in
I
the
mean,
middle of
he
nowhere
has to
like that.
go to this expo, so he's obviously, maybe what does he do at this expo? Maybe he's running the whole shit. Maybe he's selling
Maybe.
stuff. Maybe he's a successful. He's got some successful expos.
I guess so. But to me, and it's like a funny moment in there too, but she gets the call, she wakes up, it's nighttime, and he's great at building in the suspense in the sense of like she's just slowly walking around, and like it's so open in the sense of like you're expecting like something's gonna come around. She's just luring around. We just got like what happened in the opening scene, so now we know that Ghostface is probably in the house like he was for the opening scene. And it's like, oh man, like she's just like slowly moving in their house. She even teases just like, it's like, oh no, I don't like horror movies. Like it's always like some big breasted girl who should be leaving through the front door, and instead she runs upstairs, and then she ends up doing that, which is like a funny
Yeah.
thing too. She tries to go out the front door, it's locked, and then she ends up running the stairs. I'm like, Sydney, you just said it. You just said the thing, and now you're doing it.
I think something that, I mean, we talked about how like there's a lot of stuff that you could just like justify, be like, why is he in the bathroom? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like something that they actually stay loyal to is that this guy is just like a human, and he can't, like, he's not teleporting into the house.
Yeah.
So like when Sydney answers the phone and he's like, oh, I'm on your front porch. So she opens the door, walks out, and she goes and walks around the corner. And like, I noticed it in the viewing, like she doesn't close the door. She walks out. So like that's when he would have gotten into the house. And like Tatum, when she goes into the garage, right? She clicks on the garage door and opens it and then closes it again. So maybe that's how he snuck in. I mean, I guess he kind of closes the door to the garage itself. Like we just see like the door closing. So I don't know if he was outside and closed it, but then he'd have to get in somehow. So like, but they put these little things in there to be like, okay, this is how he got it. And in the opening scene, he just throws the chair through the glass. So it's not like he's just is in the house. It's like, how did he get in? Well, he just broke the door down. But the whole thing, like when she turns on the light and then her boyfriend's outside, and like that opening scene is crazy too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, with the Steve stuff. Like I know like a lot of the I've only seen like the I guess like the rated R version, but apparently like a lot of stuff ended up getting cut. Like apparently they didn't even show his guts coming out. I don't know what version you saw. I'm sure you probably saw his guts just hanging out. Apparently like in the original they just like showed like a quick shot and then just like a headshot, but they let you sit with it, and there's just like, because like I think like the ratings like studio, or I forget what they're called, like the N something whatever, they were just like, nah, we can't show that. That's too. There was a lot of pushback from them, honestly, which is such an interesting. Like you kind of understand where they're coming from, but it is like this interesting commentary of, which is another thing they end up talking about, of just like, I think it's in the third one, a little bit of the second one, of like all horror movies, like they're just making kids violent and stuff like that, and like they get ideas from watching horror movies, like, oh, look at Billy and them, they said they studied horror movies, and then I was like, it's not the horror movies though. You know what I mean? Like there's something else with these kids that you don't just watch Scream or watch Nightmare on Elm Street and then like, okay, there wasn't that one line like, oh, I didn't know you could kill someone, now I'm just gonna kill someone. Like it's like, to think that the kids are that suggestive is like that there's something else going on with them. It's not that simple to become a killer. You know, just watch someone kill someone like in a movie and you're like, I'm gonna do that now.
Yeah, I remember people are always talking about that, like with video games too, like with Call of Duty and Halo and stuff. They're like, oh, they're just gonna start killing people, and they even say it in this movie. Like Billy, when they were like the whole reveal at the end with Sydney saying, giving their motives and stuff, being like, he says he's like, horror movies don't create killers; they just make killers more creative.
Yeah,
Or something like that. So, and I remember reading that that's what the writer, like he had that line and he really liked it, and he basically, that was the concept for the whole movie, is like, okay, these guys, their motive wasn't at all tied to the horror movies. They talk about it, and it's mostly Randy doing that, but like when they reveal their motives at the end, they're just crazy. And I will say, like, I didn't love well, I guess Billy has a fair motive. You know, he's like, okay, your mom cheated with my dad, and that's why my mom left. So I hate her, so I killed her, and now I'm pissed at you. And sure,
yeah.
But then like Stu just being like, I don't know, peer pressure, man. I was like,
yeah,
okay, that's kind of lame.
Yeah, the Stu's motive isn't the greatest. The Billy one is one of the ones like it's enough, and like clearly this guy was kind of disturbed, and so like you can at least play off that. Like there's more than just like, I don't know, we're because this is one thing. There's one part, I think, the whole franchise where they have this season where one of the killers says basically that their motive was basically that they like watch a bunch of scary movies and they just wanted to kill someone. I'm like, that's easily the most hated thing out of the franchise for me. I'm like, this is the stupidest motive. And the other person was just like, yeah, it seemed like fun. I'm like, what? I'm like, who was the writer of this season? Like, someone just got really lazy. Like, everything leading up was kind of cool. And you know, the weird thing about that season too is like, one of the main character, this is like, it was so weird. The main character in that season's name was Dion, and I was like, this is so weird. Like, this is my favorite franchise, and the season I hate the most,
Oh
the
no.
main character's name is Dion, and I'm like, oh, that's fucked up, man.
They did that just
That
to
is-
slap you in the face, dude.
They
Like, yeah, we
did.
know you love this movie and these shows. Oh, here's a character and he's your name. It's gonna suck.
Yeah, this season's gonna suck though. And I was like, great. I was like, absolutely great. But no, yeah, the Stu motive wasn't the strongest. The Billy one gives a little more like there's more reasoning behind it. Where it's like, okay, the mom messed up the family.
Yeah,
Kinda
yeah. The
thing.
Billy one I wasn't mad at. The Stu one I was kind of like, it's kind of dumb, but I do respect to like Matthew Lillard just in the performance there. Like he totally makes it work. Just when he's like, because they stab each other, right? So that they
Yeah.
seem like they just got away, and then Billy stabs him like 3 more times, and he's just like, hey man, like I think I might be dying here. Like I
Yeah.
think you might have overdid it a little bit. And then like Billy just keeps getting more pissed off. He's so like the way he's playing the character and like when he hits him with the phone, oh, you just hit me with a phone, man. Like he never fights back. Billy's
Yeah.
clearly bossing him around. So like at least because there's that, I can kind of buy a little bit that he got peer pressured into this.
Yeah, a little more suggestive with that, and like the math that's another one of the scenes too that always stuck with me, and I think it's one of the most visceral things that Wes was really pushing for because I remember they even said that like we don't want that much blood in this movie, like we'll try to shy away from blood. Like, people will get stabbed, but we don't want to have too much blood because we want like because then the rating has to go up and stuff like that. And Wes was like, I'm not doing this movie if we're not gonna have blood. Like it's just ridiculous. Like this guy's is a serial killer killing people, and like and you don't want me to have blood in it. Like what are we
Yeah.
even doing here? It's just kind of goofy. And that scene, it's so visceral. I don't know why I specifically like I felt it. Just the idea of getting stabbed in the sides, like it's like a willing thing. Like, I go. That
Yeah.
to me, that's one of the most cringy scenes, like in a good way, like because that's what they're trying to go for. I'm just like, oh man, he's like, all right, go, I'm ready. I'm like, oh, and then the way they react too. It's not like this superhero thing of like they're crazy where it's like you stab them like yeah like they like it or something. You see them struggling. I'm like, oh man, like they're keeping. He's like, oh man, you went too far, and it's like, oh god, like oh it's wild. And then you just see they're covered in blood too. It's just
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
visceral. And
Yeah.
to your point, apparently a lot of Matthew Lillard's lines in that were ad-libbed, and those are some of my favorite things. When fucking he throws the phone at him, and he's like, you hit me with the phone, dick. Like, apparently that was ad-libbed. Because
Yeah.
apparently Billy was supposed to hit the counter and hit him. So he was just like, yo, what the hell, dude? He hit me with the
and then he's
phone.
like, "Oh, my parents are gonna be so mad at me." It's like, dude, you're going to prison. What are you
I
talking
know.
about? Your
And
parents?
apparently he
are gonna be
ad-libbed that too.
mad. Yeah, he's great. He's great.
He's so good at that. And another one he ad-libbed too is like when he was on Sydney, like before she throws like the TV on him, he was like, I always had a thing for you, Sid. Like apparently he ad-libbed, he was just going crazy in that scene. Like I'm just getting all my bars out, you know.
I wonder how many they cut, dude. Whenever there's something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, apparently him and David Arquette were like really just going for it with the ad libbing. So like you just think of like there's so many gems in the movie. Imagine how many others there are. Just like sitting in a
cutting room floor
server somewhere, like for Miramax, you know, that they just have
100%.
like deleted scenes or whatever.
Yeah, Miramax really was the A24 at the time. Like they were taking their chances on just like these random scripts. Like, cause now I go back and I'm just realizing all these movies that were like, I mean, Good Will Hunting being one of them, and like Tarantino. Like they were just like, what are like these obscure movies that people are making that are just kind of like wild that these big companies don't want to take a chance on? Okay, Pulp Fiction, Scream, Good Will Hunting, Clerks. Those movies are such staples of the '90s, and like, there's more too that they took more chances on. But they're just like, let's just get these things, and they popped. Like they knew what they were doing. Where they're just like, let's take a chance on this thing. Like, well, we'll do it. It's weird.
If
It's
only
different.
the head of the studio wasn't the devil.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was
If
glad
only.
that Bob was the one that was on top of
Yeah,
it. Harvey, it wasn't Harvey. I'm like, okay, it was Bob. I mean, I don't know if Bob was a great guy, but no one's
I'm
coming
sure he
out.
wasn't. Yeah, I'm
Everything's
sure
on-
he wasn't a saint, but
Yeah. Yeah, it feels a little bit better. I'm like, okay. Because I actually didn't know. I just knew that Weinstein, and I was like, man, that's a shame.
yeah.
But when I was hearing stuff about Bob being the lead guy, I was like, okay, I don't want to, maybe I just don't look into Bob, but
Yeah.
I just imagine he's a little better than his brother.
Yeah, it can't be much worse. I mean, like at the opening credits, I guess, you know, when they have like the studio logos and stuff running, and I just see like when you see like the skyline and it starts to like line up in the the light in the windows, and I just know that's the Miramax thing, and like I just saw that and I was like, damn it.
Yeah, I know. They did a lot. That's the tough thing.
Yeah.
They're connected to a lot of great movies, and especially like Tarantino, like all of Tarantino's
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
like every single one of them. So,
Damn.
yeah, no, there's not much you can do about
Yeah,
that.
it is what it is.
Did you have any like behind the scenes or facts that you saw when you were doing
No,
your?
I got all mine in. You? Actually, I do have a couple, but they're worked into my awards, so I'll talk about them when
Okay.
I get there.
I think I got my ad libs in there. Apparently we're talking about the motive. Apparently there was 2 test screenings, and like people were talking about like, oh, we think the motive should be that like that there is no motive because it's scary that way. And the other ones were like, oh, maybe there should be a motive. And then Kevin was like, I will do both because
Yeah.
he does both.
Yeah.
He's like maybe there is no motive. It's scary that way. And then he gives the
Yeah.
motive. He's like, yeah, we'll just do both. We'll just
See, so if I was on that test screening, like,
yeah.
because they start off by saying like the scariest thing is that there is no motive, right? We're just crazy. So when they were saying that, I was like, oh, that's stupid. I was like, I hate
Yeah, that would be
That's
stupid.
That is, I really don't like. And then then he actually does give the motive, and I was like, oh, okay. But before they did that, when they were just saying the no motive thing, I was like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, because why would like I understand it's in its essence it's scarier maybe in real life, but because then it's real life where it's like damn that is scary. But when you're watching, you're watching a piece of content
Yeah.
where it's just like someone who wrote this, so then you immediately think I'm like you just couldn't think of anything.
That's just lazy. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just,
it was
be
a Ferris
off-putting.
Bueller waiting to happen, and then he fixed it.
Oh, 100%. Why would you push for it's scary? There's no motive. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
kind of. That's kind of whack. The only other, I guess, let's see. I have like a Rolodex because actually how I watched this movie. I was saying how I watched this movie differently. I basically watched it just with the audio commentary on top because there was nothing. I've seen the movie so many times. I'm like, we just watch the audio commentary. You ever
Like,
do you, like
that's a thing?
like if you have the DVD,
okay.
of any movie, yeah, because I have the DVD of it, and you just put on. There's option like subtitles, then it's like audio commentary. So I just listened to Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson just talk over the movie. So I'll basically listen to a podcast. I'm listening to a podcast as the movie's going on.
So that you can then make a podcast about the movie.
Yeah, exactly. There was some really interesting that are going to be tied into my awards that I didn't even realize. Like one of them was even, I thought like Roger Jackson, which iconic voice. I'm glad he's pretty old, but he's still alive. He's still doing the voice. All right, at this point, I'm sure they could have like found a way to like take his voice and put it into like a computer system to like just recreate that like you even use the thing, but they still get him to do the voice besides even doing like a voice box or anything. And apparently he was actually on the phone with Drew Barrymore in that opening scene, which I thought was really cool. And like she never met him but prior or anything like that. It was just talking to him on the phone. Right? I thought it was just like kind of like a cool touch of like, I'm gonna hear this guy's voice for the first time and I don't even know what this guy looks like.
Yeah, which is the point. Like she doesn't know who Ghostface is or what he looks like. I think I figured that he was on the phone with her in real time during that scene, just because why wouldn't you do that? I feel like the whole scene is just a close up on her face, and she is carrying the entire first scene. Right? We see the only other actor in it is, well, I guess once Ghostface enters the scene, then he's there. But the only other person is her boyfriend. He's just tied to a chair, doesn't have any lines. So she's alone in the house. So I feel like it's just easier as an actress to actually talk to the person. Then you have the timing down of, the conversation, and you can react to what he's saying in the tone that he's saying. Because like I said, like when he's like playful at the beginning and she's kind of light with it because it's just some guy on the phone. She doesn't know it's a killer. And then when he flips, and he's like, if you hang up on me again, I'm going to gut you like a fish. And then she then flips, is like, oh, snap. Like, you know what I mean? So like if as a director, you're just like, okay, and after this line, he's going to yell at you and say he's going to kill you. Then you just imagine that and then act off of it. But why not just actually have the guy say that to you?
No, 100%. It definitely is the better choice to do like that. For whatever reason, I thought, I don't know why, I was like, oh, maybe someone else was just talking on the phone, and Roger Jackson just did the voiceover later, like in post or something. That was the only thing I was thinking. I was like, no, it's just better to get the full experience. Like, do the thing with the actual creepy voice, so she really gets in it. Where it's like, oh my god, this is this is terrifying. And like I think the added thing to me, which is interesting, is that fact that she never met him. Like there's no face that she can even imagine. She just in her head, like I'm hearing this voice, and this is the killer. This is a really creepy voice. I don't know what this dude looks like. So then she can actually like play off of like, oh my god, who is this talking to me? Like I know these are lines and stuff, but like this is really creepy. And I don't know what this person looks like.
And another thing too, like I'm sure if they met, then he would have been like, hi, I'm what's his name?
Roger Jackson.
Like, hi Drew, I'm Roger, nice to meet you, I'm a big fan. Like he'd be polite and nice.
Yeah.
So like when then you have to get, she's an actress obviously, so this is what she does, but it just makes it a little, the best acting is not acting, right? So like if you can just make it as authentic as possible, so you can imagine that this guy's a creepy serial killer because you never met him, and you never be like, okay, I imagine his face, I know he's a nice guy, I have to get past that to be scared of him. No, I can genuinely just be scared of him.
I think it works really well with that. But I think that's all I got as far as like nice like little facts or anything like that. I think everything else bring into the family meeting. So I think it's time.
It's time for the Filmmies.
Oh yeah. Yes, it's that time. It's time for the Filmmies, not the family meeting, like I just said. And this is the part of the show where we give out 6 awards to what we just watched. Plain and simple. First award that we have is our Ferris Bueller Award. So, Scott, who gets your Ferris Bueller? Which is AKA our Lazy Award.
Yeah. So there's plenty of lazy awards to go out in a movie like this. Like we said, you could just say like, oh, why did you do that? Why would you do this? I went like very inconsequential with it, but it's still lazy. So I gave it to Casey, who is Drew Barrymore at the start in the first scene. And it's for not moving the popcorn off the stove or turning off the stove when like she puts it on. She's talking to the ghost, talking to Ghostface. He's saying, I'm making popcorn, whatever. I'm gonna watch a movie. She leaves. She sees her boyfriend tied up. She goes back to the stove. It's starting to burn already. I get it. Like this is a tense situation. Like you're freaking out, but like it's as simple as just doing that. You just you just push the thing to the side off the burner. It's just lazy.
No, it is 100%. And it's like in the movie sense, it's literally just there to be like that adding anxiety of just like something's burning, like like it's the buildup, like a slow pop, and now it's getting more intense, and now it's burning, and now what's happening around her is going crazy. So it's like, but yeah, as she's like, because it happens before Ghostface even breaks the window or anything, you could have just been like, just move it, right? Yeah, like you're just making the situation worse for yourself. But that's a great award. Short and simple, and it's justified. I like it. It was tough for me to go with like a lazy award in the sense of like, because there were certain things where I'm like, okay, was that lazy or that's just like it was a dumb thing they did. So it's like there's moments like that. But to me, and this isn't my my favorite scene, but it's up there for one of my favorite scenes of just what it was. But the Tatum garage door scene, like when she gets killed, my Ferris Bueller goes to Kevin Williamson. And I had to preface by saying that I do like that scene. But I think the thing that I don't love about it, as I keep rewatching it, is the closing of the scene where it's like she tried to escape through the doggy door. And I understand like it's like the hope thing of it's like, how's she going to get out? That's her hope. But to me, the idea that the garage door thing is so strong that it could take up Tatum and bring her all the way. Like, I'd understand more so if it's like back then, because it was a newer technology of like, oh, we need to put the sensors now. So like if a foot's there, then it stops and goes back up. But there was a time when it would just keep going. And they were like, okay, maybe we should put a sensor. That's kind of safe. There was accidents. Cars got pushed down. Foots got crushed. Her head could have got crushed. Maybe that was like the thing. Ghostface was like held her down. She was like, no. And then like crushed. That could have been the thing. But the idea that it held up her whole body weight all up until the point that it crushed her head and then kept going and then held her there. It wasn't like a boom and then fall. It just stayed. I was like, it goes to Kevin because I think we could have wrote a better way.
Yeah. They got the garage over 6,000, man. Like like we said, these houses are all super nice, so I believe that they got the top of the line garage door opener. Maybe that's part of the marketing. So strong it can hold up a teenage girl.
I guess so. I'm gonna give Tatum what, like maybe she's like a $120 or something.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
pretty. That's pretty strong. That's a strong ass door, bro. Like that's insane. But so I was fishing because I was like, there wasn't really anything that like really stood out to me as being like lazy by a character. Maybe there was like a glaring thing I just didn't see, but for whatever reason, I wanted to give it to Kevin for that. So I'm sorry, Kevin, but you got my Ferris Bueller award.
It's fair.
Next one we got is fit check. So self-explanatory. Who got your best fit or your worst fit?
I gave it to best fit. I gave it to Gale Weathers.
Mm.
And it's at the start, like at the school and at the police station when Sydney punches her in the face, which I did not see coming, by the way. That was actually a good flip because she punches her and then they give us the motive after of being like, yeah, I hate her because of what she did with during my mom's case and everything. And then we're like, oh, that's why it happens. So like, but if they set it up earlier saying that they hate her, then the punch maybe doesn't hit as hard because like you'd maybe expect it because you know that she hates her, but like I didn't know that she hated her. And then she punched her in the mouth. I was like, why the hell did she do that? But anyways, her fit was just the bright green pantsuit, like the skirt and the jacket. It's a clean look.
Yeah, no, she's really going for it. She really went for it with that fit. She's interesting contrast too when you think of what was happening at the time too. Like she was just in Friends at that time and just being like a nice kind of character. So to be like this, like a bitch kind of character and like this no nonsense character, it was like probably a good flip for at the time. I can't speak on the time, but I'm sure it was like an interesting contrast of like, oh, that's the girl from Friends in like this funny horror movie. And she's kind of mean.
That's actually I read something about that too. Because that was the like casting director, the producers like concern was like, okay, we've seen you on Friends and like Family Ties, like you're a nice girl. I don't know if you can do this character. So she had to like keep lobbying. Like she wrote a letter being like, no, like I want to pivot right now. Like because I've been doing like this nice thing, like I can be a bitch.
And she's good at it.
Yeah.
she's very good at doing it.
Like
to go
what
to
she
your
did to the cameraman, dude. Like when I tell you quick, I mean move your fat ass and get the camera. Like damn.
Yeah, no, she's ruthless, man. She's ruthless, and she's just as ruthless in like in the second one too. She doesn't hold up. She does not hold up. The funny thing about it just reminded me too a line that was almost one of my quotes because it was so funny. It's like when Tatum was like hyping up Sydney, she's like, "Oh, you knocked that bitch down." She's like, "Oh no, punch, super bitch, knocked down." Like you went head crazy. I was like, "That bitch went down." I was like, "Oh, that's fucking hilarious."
Yeah, that's good.
That was good, but that was a good fit. That's respectable. I like that fit. My fit was a good fit, not worst fit. Went to Stu, and it was for like that red robe that he was wearing, like at the party. Like people come into came to the party. He was rocking like it would almost look like it almost like came like vibes like a Hugh Hefner. Yeah, like a Hugh Hefner kind of robe with the swirling red and everything. And part of me was thinking, like, it's pretty like nice and fancy robe to be wearing at like a house party. It's kind of random when you think about it.
I guess I don't know. It makes it easy to just if it's a little bit cool that night, you don't want to be bundled up, right? Because you got to be able to quickly get into the Ghostface suit.
Yeah.
So you can just throw off the robe, slip on the Ghostface costume. So it's like it's practical and it's his party, so he's getting comfortable.
That's true. The thing that I think about is like it almost feels like it'd be more work though, because now you got to take off the robe and put the Ghostface costume on, which that in itself is always something that will never get answered. And it always intrigued me of like, and this happens like in every Scream movie and like in some of the TV show up like seasons where you're like, okay, who was under the suit at what moment? Sometimes you can think like this probably makes a little sense. Like it was probably Billy at this moment, or it's probably Stu at this moment when it's like obvious, like when Billy is like in the police station, stuff like that. But there's certain times where you kind of wonder, I'm like, okay, who was it there? Then there's no answer really. Sometimes it's like blatant. We're like, okay, what had to been like when Billy got stabbed. Like, okay, that had to be Stu at that time. But when like neither of them in the room, I'm like, okay, I wonder a little bit. Like, who was it there? Like who was the person that wanted to kill this person? Like, are they doing like a flipping the coin? Like, oh, who gets to kill the principal? Who gets to kill Casey?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they figured that out. What's the behind the scenes on that kind of stuff? But that'll never be answered.
It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Is it a coin flip or is it like, hey, no, you got to kill Casey, so I get to kill the
Yeah,
principal kind of thing? You know what I mean? Like a one for one
exactly.
kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Really don't know. But yeah, no, I had to go with the red robe. I was feeling it. I thought it was kind of
Nice.
fresh, even though I was saying it's. I guess you said it's his own house, and maybe it's like this thing of like it's the big night.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look
true.
fresh tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
Billy
know.
just threw on a white tee. Stu was like, no, no, no. This is the anniversary of the death. We're killing everybody at the house. Like, let me come correct.
Yeah. Next one we have, as I was just kind of teasing it, self-explanatory. Best quote. So, what was your favorite quote from the movie?
I gave it to Randy at the
Mm.
end, like right after she kills Billy for the first time, because they do that little thing, be like, "Oh, this is the moment where he's gonna come back alive for a second," and then he does, and then they shoot
Yeah.
him. Anyway, Sydney says, Sydney sees him and goes like, "Oh, I thought you were dead," and then Randy says, "I probably should be. I never thought I'd be so happy to be a virgin."
Yeah,
Just
no,
because he
that's a
was
great.
setting up all the rules before. He's like, if you're a virgin, like you're good. You can't have sex. You can't leave the room and say you'll be right back. You can't do all this stuff. So he is abiding by his own rules. Never thought he'd be so happy to be a virgin. I wasn't expecting it at that moment, and it made me laugh.
No, it's a great. Honestly, there's so many, especially because my appreciation of like all the horror movie quotes of that, like where I was like, oh, there's so many good quotables. Some of them are literally just quotes from other movies, so I was like, I'll firm away from that. But there's so many just like funny, meta, self-aware quotes that I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. And I end up going that route, but like that one was high on my list of because that
Yeah,
took me out. I remember when the first time I heard it, and I'm like,
I,
oh yeah, that's why you didn't die because of the rules. It's
exactly,
like
man.
because even Billy, because that's the funny thing too. Like, are Billy and Stu abiding by the rules to that extent? Is like, did Billy not feel like he could kill her unless he had sex with her, or he just wanted to have sex with her? It's like a little bit of him, like he's weird like that, where he's like, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta abide by the rules. Like I know I'm killing people, but there is rules. There is rules.
I think he just wanted to have sex with her.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Because
Yeah.
he's been trying to do that,
But
but
that
it
is a
is like a
funny
funny
idea
thing.
of, yeah, if they're just abiding by Randy's rules. Yeah, that is funny to think about.
Because they were doing their studying, which is which is funny. But my quote I end up giving to Tatum, and it's to me it's one of the most like iconic quotes that always gets brought up around like Halloween time, like on social media and stuff like that. And it's just something that really taps into that self-awareness of it's in the garage with Tatum, and she thinks it's I kind of yeah, she thinks it's like someone. I think she thinks it's Randy, right?
I think
I'm
yeah,
forgetting
Randy.
now.
I
And
think it's
she's
Randy.
just
Yeah.
like, "No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel." Like that line. That line is just so hilarious to me. He's like, "Oh, we're playing Psycho Killer." He's just like, "Yeah." And it's just like that
Yeah.
whole aspect of it. It's like, "No, I want to be in the sequel," and it's just like, "Oh shit, yeah, you're not going to be in the sequel, Tatum."
Yeah, I mean, we talk about how like the whole meta self-awareness is just so good about this movie. So the fact that both of us picked lines that are just directly doing that,
Yeah.
that's the best part of this movie. So no complaints. You're right. It's great.
And that's why I had a little bit of beef of the way it ended too, because I was like, "Oh, this buildup is great." Where it's just like she thinks this is someone under there, and then she's talking like, "Okay, we're done doing this horror movie thing. Like, get out of my face. Like, let's get out of here." And
Yeah,
she's like,
yeah.
"Nope, let me prove to you. Let me cut you on the arm." But
Mm.
next award we have is our Peyton Pritchard Award, aka our six man. So who for you showed out in their limited role in the movie?
I gave it to Bridget Slyerton,
Okay.
who is the person who designed the mask.
Mm,
So it's a funny story of just how this mask came to be in the movie. Like it was called the Peanut Eyed Ghost, and she
okay.
designed it for Fun World, which is like a Spirit Halloween, like it's a party city, like it's just a costume like party store.
Mm,
So it's true that like this was just available all over the place all the time. A producer had come across it while location scouting, and the studio wanted something a bit different. They didn't think it was like scary enough because, like we talked about, the tone is so unique and like it does the scary thing and the funny thing. So they were like, no, it's not scary enough. But the the writer is kind of like, yeah, but it's also kind of not supposed to really be that scary. So they tried a few different ones, and ultimately they stuck with this one, and it's just so iconic. So that's where I went with it.
No, that's a great. I actually didn't even know the name of the person that created the mask. So like that's news to me. I did know that they found out a local, which is so crazy. Like when you hear these stories, like even like it makes me think of like the Michael Myers mask. Like I don't know if you knew this. Like the Michael Myers mask is like a William Shatner Halloween costume mask, and they just spray painted it. It's just like these weird things where like where it's just like what? I'm like, oh yeah, it is. And like when they show the side by side, it's just like they things are so iconic, and it's just someone just found them, and then it just becomes like this iconic thing that's like, oh yeah, that's the Ghostface mask, that's the Michael mask. It's like we just found this like right before we started shooting the movie, and now it's like this thing that's living on forever.
That's so funny that like now if anyone has that mask, everyone immediately associates it with Scream and Ghostface.
Yeah.
Whereas like this existed before for Halloween. So people were wearing this as a Halloween costume before, and people were just like, oh, you look like a weird peanut-eyed ghost.
That's what I'm saying. That's so weird to think.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, yeah, this is our thing now. It's like, all right, like I guess so. Yeah,
that's cool.
It's interesting. But no, that's a good pick. I like that. This one was actually like my 6th man. I ended up giving to Dane Farewell. And I was like, again, as a hardcore fan, I wasn't familiar with this guy, but this guy did something that ended up being a very iconic thing that's done in every single movie and done in every single TV show. And it's something very slight because he's one of the main guys. There's a couple people that are the stunt double for Scream. But I don't know if you even noticed when the Ghostface would do this. It's like, like he'd stab someone and then he'd take the knife and do like the little clean thing.
Oh yeah, clean. Yeah.
Apparently that was just like an ad-lib thing that he did in the movie a couple times. Like Wes never told him to do that. Kevin never told him to do that. And that is now an iconic staple thing that Ghostface always does when he stabs someone.
Snap.
And it's just this little clean thing. And now they added in like the sound effect more, like a little sling, like almost like in a lot of the newer ones. But it was just like a thing that he would just like, yeah, let me just clean the knife. Like I just stab someone and I just do a little, and then I just go. And like now that is like a staple of what Ghostface does, like in every single movie. And this guy just was a stunt guy that just felt like, maybe I should do that.
Try it. Yeah, that's so sick, dude. Yeah, I figured it was direction. I mean, it's because it's okay, you're gonna kill this guy, then you're gonna wipe the knife off because it's creepy. And I just assumed it was Wes that was like, do that. And the fact he was just like, I'm in the moment, let me just do it. Worst case scenario, they don't like it and we yell cut and go again. But that's sick. That's so cool.
It is so dope because when I was watching the audio commentary, Kevin was like, yo, I really like want to give you props for like the whole like knife clean thing. Like I didn't write that in the script. He's like, nah, that wasn't me. Like that was Dan. Like Wes could have took the credit because I mean he's the director. People would have been like, oh yeah, and then like versus like who's worthy to trust? Wes, who at that time was already established director, or like it'd be kind of messed up if he just took that. Yeah, that was me. But he's like, nah, that was Dan. That was the stunt. Like I didn't tell him to do that. He just did that. And now it's just become like this iconic thing, which is like, damn, all right, Dan, I'm giving you your flowers. Dan Farewell. I don't even know if he's alive. I actually didn't even look him up, but I'm giving you your flowers regardless. You created something.
That's sick.
There's another stunt person I want to give love to before we head into another award, since we were talking about stunt doubles. There was another, I forgot her name though, because it wasn't even said when they were talking about the audio commentary, but one, like, the scene when Gale is like driving and then like Sydney sees her and then she turns and then she's up hitting into the tree. Apparently that wasn't supposed to happen. And what was supposed to happen is that she was supposed to turn and the car was supposed to just like flip. But the car didn't end up flipping and went into the tree, and that wasn't part of the plan. And so and they were like, oh snap, like, is the stunt person okay? Everyone was like, damn, I think we just lost the stunt driver. Like, she might be really bad. And then the girl just like hopped out and be like, all right, time for my coffee break. And we're like,
damn,
all right, I guess we're using that.
That's so crazy. See, I figured obviously it was a planned thing. And I mean, I would assume like it's still a regular truck, right? So it would still have like airbags and everything. So like you would assume that, but it was going pretty fast.
Yeah. That's why they were like, I think we lost a stunt driver.
Damn.
This is crazy. Because now when I look back at the scene, I'm like, yeah, that shit goes and that hits the tree hard. and that
Yeah.
wasn't planned. It's just crazy to think. Like, yeah, the car was supposed to flip. It wasn't supposed to go straight into a tree.
Damn. Shout out to the stunt performers, man. They just
Yeah, no, they put
get
on the
beaten
line.
up and just hop back up and,
It's
dust off their
insane.
pans and have a coffee and right back to it. That's crazy.
Absolutely insane. Next award we have is best scene. So what was the best scene for you?
We didn't talk about this a ton during the deep dive, and I figured this might be why we might have a little certified here. But I give it to the opening scene. I think it's such a great introduction to the killer. Like it starts off light on the phone, and then he has the flip. If you hang up on me, I'm gonna cut you. Like so good. Killing Drew Barrymore is such a good idea too because she's the most recognizable actor. She's on the poster and like so you assume she's going to be a big part of this movie, so when she dies you immediately like, okay, anybody could die, nobody's safe. More notes on like the production was like Bob Weinstein, the producer, like he was seeing daily footage. They started filming with this scene, and he was seeing the dailies, and he hated it. He thought, I mean, like we talked about just the tone and everything. He's like, it has this inconsistent tone. It lacks tension. Like I don't think it's working. So he basically was like, okay, I want to try something with a different mask. I want to try this. And they were like, okay, how about we edit the footage together, like make the scene, and then we'll show it to you to prove that it works. And if it doesn't work, then we'll cancel the movie because this is what the movie is. It's the funny and the scary. He then watched it, and after he watched it, he said, "What do I know about dailies? Keep going."
Yeah, that's great. I never even heard that story, so that's interesting to hear that. But yeah, like again, we get it. We talked about earlier where it's just like it's tough on paper. I mean, he was intrigued by the paper, like by the initial script, but then even seeing it, it's just like seeing this little piece of like, oh, it's like it's jokey, and then we're trying to be like serious in moments. Like I just don't know if that's gonna work. This isn't something that's really been done before. Like usually we go all comedy or we go all serious in these moments, but like this, it's just bouncing with both. So I understand his initial confusion.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but no, it's a great scene. I don't know if you had any other points you want to say on it or.
No, I mean, I think, yeah, like I said, the introduction of the killer's so good, but I mean, the tension is so good too, because like, I think the fact that he's on the phone, we don't see him, we don't know who he is. So he can say, but he can clearly see her, and we're just sitting in the house with her. It's not like they cut then to shots of him like sitting in the bushes looking at her, or a POV from the bushes looking at her. So we don't know where he is. So we're just as uncomfortable as she is because we're just looking at her. And then she, okay, turned the light on. Oh snap, there's actually someone there, because like she could have been like, oh, are you just pranking me? Turn the light on. Oh no, there's my boyfriend. He's actually tied up and all bloody. Like this is real. And so like the fact that we just staying with her in the house the whole time, I think is such a great decision. And what an opening to the movie.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And that's exactly why we have the exact same best scene. And it wasn't even a question for me. Like I was saying that the Tatum thing was close, but it wasn't even a question for me because a big part of the reason why I like this movie so much is because it's got one of the best opening scenes. I think we talked about this too when we were even doing Inglourious Bastards, and at the time you hadn't seen the movie, and we were looking up best opening scenes, and this was on that list because it's just like it's just far in between. Like there's certain movies that's just like, yeah, the opening scene, like it's really just getting you into like, all right, we're about to watch something.
Yeah.
We're about to watch something. And to me, it's like I always go to this where it's like I mean, I didn't watch this at the time because when the movie came out, like we were just being born. But I actually did the due diligence of going back to watch the original trailer. And in the original trailer, you would assume that Drew Barrymore is not gonna die in this opening scene. You'd assume the way they keep showing the scenes and they cut it around is like, oh, okay, like they don't show her dying. Like that's sometimes my things. I'm like, maybe if this trailer came out today, maybe they'd show, yeah, by the way, Drew Barrymore's gonna die in the first scene. It's gonna be fun, but she's not one of the main characters. These are the main characters. But like it's so ballsy to do that. It's like if we were like make a movie today and like, oh yeah, Zendaya is gonna be in our movie. And like, oh yeah, Zendaya's in this movie. Like, I heard this new Zendaya movie, and then she dies in the first 10 minutes. It's like, oh, I guess this isn't a Zendaya movie.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, okay, like that's ballsy to do that. The most notable name, you're just gonna
Mhm.
kill off in the first scene, where it's like, damn, they really did that.
Yeah. Yeah, and
That's
I mean,
crazy.
one thing that I mean, you're totally right, but I mean, one thing that kind of not cheese me, but like at the end of the scene, I guess, when so she starts to run away, her parents come home and they're walking up to the door and she just got choked out so she can't yell for help,
Mhm.
but she's holding the phone and I'm
Yeah.
like, just throw the phone at your mom. Like just you have this right here, just throw it to get her to turn
Yeah.
her head. She doesn't do it and what happens, but
Yeah,
it's
and
such a good scene.
I think that part of it too is what I've appreciated it more as like I've seen it so many times and try to analyze what other parts I find interesting and just hearing the little things like even it's like the little cute things too, where it's like I never noticed until Wes even said it. Like, you know how she's saying she's about to watch a movie and like the
Mhm.
TV's there and it's like the blue screen or whatever it is, right? It's and I actually kind of forgot because it's been so long, like watching out of a VHS and stuff like that. Like there will always be like that screen, wherever it'd be like a black screen or whatever it is. Like this is the screen before you actually put in something in the VCR and then it starts to play. And he was saying that was like a little cute thing, a bit like, hey, the movie's about to start, kind of thing. He's like, I wanted to put that TV on, like, hey, she's about to watch a film, you're about to watch a film. So he's like, let me just have that in the background. I was like, oh, it's a nice little
Okay.
cute touch. He even said it was like, it's a nice little cute thing I want to throw in there. She's
Yeah.
about to watch a film, you guys are about to watch a film. So I was like,
Yeah.
I like that little touch. And I also think that one part is so heart wrenching. And as a fan of it, liking the opening scene so much, you know it's not going to change because you've seen so many times. It's just like it's that hope spot where it's like,
Mm.
oh man, like you could have done this thing where the parents don't come home, but it's the hope of like, okay, the parents are coming home. Maybe Drew Barrymore is going to survive. This is going to be the scare of like, damn, I almost got killed. Like she's going to come to school next day, guys. I almost got killed by a killer. We all got to watch out. There's someone coming for us. Like that could have been like the plot. So you think, okay, maybe the parents are gonna actually scare Ghostface away. And it's like running, it's like she's screaming, it's like, no, they can't hear. And it's just like, no. And then Ghostface slaps the phone away. It's like, nah, she reviews the mask. So she sees the killer.
Yeah.
And like there's no real reaction because she's almost close to death anyway. It's like, no, it's like she's not gonna make it. She's so close. You're
Yeah.
right there. No. It's
Yeah.
just like, it's like I always go to the I Am Legend thing. It's like the line or whatever. It's just like the line
Mm.
is right there, or like you just missed the boat and now you're stuck on the island. It's like no,
Yeah.
damn,
You're so close. Like, no,
so
yeah.
close.
So that's what, like, the emotion of the scene is so good too. That like, but the fact that you can have that while also having like this meta satirical comedy at the start of it, and like even your point about the blue screen, like you guys about to watch a movie, like that's self-aware meta, same thing.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't say it, but it's the same idea. But then you can also then tie in real tension of what, like when he throws the chair through the window and you're just like, oh snap, like this is now he's in the building, and like you said, the emotion of like, no, she's right there, like that's your parents, like you could do it, you can get out. It's a roller coaster. What a good scene. What a
oh
scene.
yeah. And Ghostface is a little full of shit, and I always wonder too. And like, there's a little part of me that doesn't remember. I'm a little foggy on some of the other ones in like the question asking. It's usually ends up being in that way. It's not always the way, but part of me is wondering like if Casey got the answer right, Stu,
Mm.
Billy, we're gonna let her go. I
I don't
die.
think so, because I mean, even like at the end when there was Sydney and he's like, okay, we're gonna ask you a question, if you get it wrong you die, and if you get it right you die. So I think
Yeah,
it's that.
just fucking with them. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just fucking with her regardless. Where it's just like, oh, she actually got it wrong, so we can actually say that, like, oh yeah, we killed her. She got the question wrong. You know, this is
Yeah,
freaking
that's the
death
rules.
jeopardy. Yeah, exactly. That's the
Death
rules.
Jeopardy.
Sorry, that's how it goes. But last but certainly not least, we got our MVP. So who gets the MVP for you?
I gave it to Jesus. I gave it to Kevin Williamson, who is the writer that we've been praising throughout this thing. I mean, it was his idea, the whole satirical writing that plays on the genre tropes, that actually uses them in the movie while still mentioning them. Like it's such a good idea. It's got a bunch of great characters. I think the characters are great. They really work off each other and they fit the tone. Like it's mostly, well, all of them, but especially I think Randy and Dewey, like just they're comedic. Like Dewey is just a loser cop and they're making fun of him. Randy with like he works at the video store, so he's seen all these movies, so he knows all the rules and stuff. So he's the one that, like, at the party they're just trying to watch the movie and he's like, no, I gotta pause this, I gotta tell you guys all about it. I think it totally works. It's really fun. The mystery is really good. It keeps you guessing. You don't know what it's gonna be. It's an interesting idea to have two people be the results, to have two people doing it. We talked about how the motive was kind of stupid for, well, Billy's was fine, but Stu's was kind of a little bit dumb.
Yeah.
But again, like the movie's dumb. So like who cares? Like it totally works and he's my MVP.
Yeah, that's a good MVP. And I end up going with him as well. So we got to certify on that.
Double certified,
and
baby.
It was actually kind of tough for me too, because I always go back to the adaptation aspect of it too, where I was even like debating whether it goes to like Wes or not, because it was really just between the two of them for me, because it was like him making it work, because there's so many people that passed on it thinking that they couldn't make it work and thinking like that was just a comedy, and like he was able to be like, no, I get it, it's a comedy and we're also doing horror, like I see what you're trying to do, like, so we can make it work. So like if the wrong director came on, he would have maybe try to lean more into the comedy stuff. It's like, no, you're missing the horror. He's like, no, what do you mean? Like, this is a comedy. It's just like so many people weren't getting it. So to me, I almost wanted to. That's why I was debating. I'm like, Wes really made it work. Like, he really made it work, and he came from making so many. I think at that point he already made like 5 or 6 horror movies. So like he was really embedded in it, and he made Nightmare on Elm Street, which was not even just one of it. Like, I was gonna say at the time, it is one of the most successful franchises like of all time. Not even just in horror, just in general. Like that character of Freddy Krueger, like that's from The Dome, you know. Like he wrote it and directed it. Like that's his IP. So he already was in that space and stuff like that, and he understood the world and the tropes and all that stuff. And so he was like, "No, I get what you're doing. Like this 100% works." But Kevin, the dialogue and the style is the aspect of it that I really enjoy. So I had to give it to him for that. Just because of all the things we've been talking about. So it was tough because Wes brought it to life, but it is the words and the style that is the main pull for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good point actually for Wes, the argument that you gave to him, because like you said, all the directors that passed on it could have very easily been messed up. Like you could have a great script and this movie comes out and they just didn't get the vision, or the studio, they didn't have the strength to push back on the studio that didn't get the vision, was trying to make it more horror or more comedy, and then it's one of those, it's just a comedy that didn't really work, or a horror that didn't really work because it was a little too comedic, or a comedy that didn't really work because it was a little too scary, and we're not talking about it today and nobody knows who Ghostface is or anything like that, but like he really understood it and got the best of both worlds. So it's a great shout out to Wes Craven. He deserves praise, but at the end of the day, it all came from Kellen Williamson's brain. Like his the hero, or the villain, and the mystery and the self-awareness of the movie. Like it's just such a good idea. We talked about like this should be in more. Every genre should have a franchise like this.
No, 100%.
And he came up with it, and I love it.
Yeah, no, it's great. And it's interesting too, because now I'm like expanding back into the world, because they were together for the trilogy and then the 4th one, and then unfortunately Wes passed, and then the 5th one was the first one without Wes, and everyone was kind of like weird, and even like some people were like, oh, I don't even know if we want to do this, it's not going to be the same. Like I mean, people at this point get it, so like it's not like people would be like, oh, I don't get it, there's been 4 movies at this point, but like, okay, we're gonna do it. And then after the 6th one was without either of them, even Kevin wasn't even really attached to the 6th one, but now Kevin is coming back for the 7th one. So that's another reason why I'm excited, because I'm like, okay, this is his baby, and he's actually directing it, which I thought was interesting. He's never directed before.
Oh, wow.
So like he's tapped into the script, and he also wants to direct it. So I'm like, okay, he's got something that he wants to say about horror, I guess, maybe at this stage in in the game. I don't know what that's why the main thing where I'm intrigued too. Because I said, like, I was saying how it's gonna be a lot of fanfare and stuff like that, but because I appreciate Kevin's vision, his writing, and his style, I'm sure if he randomly decided, like, I'm gonna I mean, paycheck's nice too, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he's struggling for money. I doubt that. Like, with the success of this franchise,
it's either like, okay, he's got like this clear vision. He's like, no, like, I want to direct this. I have this idea and I need to see it come to life myself. Or is it like, I don't want to dampen your mood. And I mean, I could obviously be way wrong, but like, is it something that's like, he has this idea, he wrote the script and nobody wanted it, so everybody passed on it. So he's like, damn it, all right, fine, I'll just direct it myself.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the studio Paramount's still putting the cash behind it, so I guess because they just know people are going to see it regardless. At least like the diehards and the new audience that's come from the resurgence from this decade. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna get, but it's the same length as this movie. It's like an hour and 50, so it's gonna have fun with it. All the references, they're gonna make references to now newer horror movies, probably nothing that came out in like the last year or anything. Maybe they'll say Sinners. Maybe, I don't know. That may be too quick to make a Sinners reference or something like that. But there might be something. Who knows? We'll see. I'm interested to see what they got to say.
We will see. But well, that's gonna do it for us then. Double certified, scene and MVP. Those are some heavy hitters too. When you get scene MVP, those feel good to get certified. So thank you for listening, everybody. We really appreciate it. Dion, we have done Scream, one of your favorite movies. Happy birthday, my friend. Everyone wish Dion a happy birthday in the comments. If you enjoyed the episode, we would really very much appreciate a 5-star review. If you leave a written review, we will shout you out in the family meeting. Do you have any what's a good five knives, 5 killers, 5 horror movies?
5
Ghostface masks.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, I didn't even think about that actually. Yeah, 5 5 knives. I don't know.
5 knives. All right. You can check us out on Instagram, TikTok at the Film Room Pod. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, the Film Room. You will find us, and you'll find nothing but amazing episodes because that's all we do. We will see you next week. Dion, take it away.
And remember, Mr. Ghostface, please don't kill either of us because we want to be in the sequel.
Very much so, yes.
And peace out.
Peace out.